Hi, my name is Susan Garman, and the topic that I chose to discuss is bullying and cyberbullying. The reason why I chose to talk about this topic is because it's so prevalent in our classrooms, and we either know somebody who's been bullied, or maybe we've been the person that's been bullied. Um, so I think a lot of people can connect and relate. So the first thing I want to do is I want to give you the definition of bullying. Bullying is an unwanted, aggressive behavior that involves an imbalance of power. Now, this behavior is repeated or has the potential to be repeated. Some examples of bullying would be making threats, spreading rumors, excluding somebody, attacking somebody verbally, physically. So, cyberbullying would then be described or defined as bullying, but using digital devices such as computers, tablets, cell phones, things that our students are constantly surrounded by. Now, with cyberbullying, they're sending, they're posting, and they're sharing all of this negative information. A lot of times they find this cyberbullying to be happening on social media websites such as Facebook, Instagram, text messages, emails, instant messages. With cyberbullying, then, all of this aggression is going viral. So large groups of people are seeing it, people that are just acquaintances, people you don't even know. That's what's dangerous about it. Something for you to keep in mind that I thought was interesting is bullying. All states have laws regarding bullying, but only a few have laws regarding cyberbullying. Now, how are bullying and cyberbullying the same? Well, they're both intended to cause pain and harm to their victim. They're both aggressive acts. The victims all have the same effects. They're depressed, they're withdrawn, changes in sleeping patterns, eating patterns, loss of interest in activities that maybe they've once enjoyed. The bullying happens repeatedly. This is not just a one-time incident. This is happening over and over again. And the other key thing, which makes these two very similar, is that there's an imbalance of power. The bully is looking for their victim to be weaker than they are so that they, don't go and seek help. Now, how is cyberbullying bullying different? Well, the one regards the internet. The bully is remaining anonymous. You might not know who's sending you the text messages or who's sharing this information. And when you don't know that person, and this is happening over the internet, the bully itself, or himself or herself, is disconnected, and they're not as remorseful. They can't see the victim. They're not seeing the effect that it has on them. Cyberbullying can occur anywhere. When we think of bullying, we think, okay, it's happening at the school, it's happening at the playground, it's on the bus, something like that. Cyberbullying, you have digital devices that you can take anywhere. It's going to be happening at home. It's going to be happening in the doctor's office. Anywhere that you take a digital device, this is where it could be happening. And again, cyberbullying, the information is going viral, and it can be on your permanent record. So very dangerous stuff. Now, as teachers, we all want to know, how can we minimize this in our classroom? Well, first and foremost, educate, educate, educate. You want to make sure that you're talking to your students, letting them know this is what it looks like. This is not okay. And this is where you can go to get help. Very important. Keep your lines of communication open. As a teacher, you want to make sure you're listening to your students, that they feel comfortable coming to you. As a parent, make sure you're asking the questions. Who did you play with today? Or who are your friends that are texting you? Or, who are they communicating with on social media? Get involved, ask questions. The other thing that's a great idea is to encourage your kids to do things that they're good at and that they really enjoy doing. This increases their self-confidence. It also promotes friendships. So you're building a community around you, which is a great support system. Schools. In the schools can adopt a district-wide program or an evidence-based program. We've been in schools where I'm sure you've seen posters hanging up in the hallways, the zero tolerance for bullying. This is where the whole school is involved in basically saying, this is not welcome here, and we're all going to stand up to it together, creating a great effect. Teachers can be teaching about it in their classrooms, incorporating it into their lessons, role playing. What do you do if you see this happening to somebody else? Where do you go if you need to report it? Staff training, absolutely, for educators and administrators on what to look for and how to help. Make sure you're setting clear rules, expectations, and that the consequences are spelled out. Involve your parents. This collaborating with parents is absolutely essential. Letting parents feel involved in their child's education, knowing that they can come to you if they're suspecting something, or, this is the way my child is feeling at home, what do you see in the classroom? So involve parents, make sure that they feel welcome and involved in your class. Okay, also hotspots. These are hotspots. These are typical places where bullying is happening, such as hallways, cafeterias, school buses, playgrounds. If adults and teachers can go and monitor these spots, it would have a bigger effect because they're having a greater presence. Also look for warning signs of your students and your children, which we talked about before, which is being socially withdrawn, depressed, changes in eating and sleeping patterns, things of that nature. Okay, how can we minimize cyberbullying? First and foremost, we're creating digital citizens. This is a relatively new term, and what it means is that we're teaching our students how to be responsible using technology. Great way to do this in the classroom, incorporate it into your lessons. Maybe you can have your students start writing blogs or use it for research projects, things of that nature. How do we use technology? Create scenarios of do's and don'ts. What should we do? What shouldn't we do with when we see things on the internet? Teach safety practices. Utilize nicknames instead of using your full name when you're online. What are safe topics to talk about? Personal information that you should not share, such as names, birth dates, addresses, things of that nature. If a student feels that they're on a website that they don't feel is quite right and they don't feel is safe, to get out of it. Make sure you have open communication with your students. Educate teachers and administrators on the new technologies that are occurring. Involve your parents and know when to use community members. So if there's threatening messages, maybe that's the time to involve law enforcement. So I hope that what I've discussed here you have found useful, and that you can minimize this in your classrooms. And I thank you so much for listening, and have a good day.